Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cheryl Hanley, Senior Director of Demand Generation at PGI. And let's see if we can get started with our first slide. There we go. So my session is entitled Herding Cats and Corralling Chickens, a CMO's Guide to Virtual Collaboration. And what I'm going to talk to you about today is basically PGI's story in developing a pretty large-scale content marketing strategy targeted to the marketing line of business. So we'll go over, hold on one second here. We'll go over the strategy, the process, the people, the tools, and the results of our content marketing program. So to get started with the strategy, as I mentioned, we were targeting the marketing line of business, and we were really targeting CMOs, VPs, and directors, decision makers in the marketing line of business. And we did a lot of research going out of the gate, and we wanted to understand what's keeping the CMO up at night, what are their pain points, and through our research, we kept on seeing a common theme. And it was really around managing the customer experience. And as you know, as a marketer, we've always been responsible for the brand, but the brand has really evolved to owning the sum of the customer experience in this day and age, particularly in this digital world where our buyer can interact with our brand in so many different ways online, whether they're researching on your website, they're buying on your e-store, they're engaging with your customer service online. And it only takes one poor customer experience for that buyer to go out and say something negative about your brand through their social networks. So some of the research that we uncovered, this is from Accenture. 77% of marketers say it's essential for their company to deliver an effective customer experience. And 89% of high-growth companies are focused on customer experience compared to only 60% of low-growth companies. So when you think about it, as a marketer, we really need to work more collaboratively with our key stakeholders in sales, in product, in customer service, in IT, as well as our agencies, agency partners, to really manage that customer experience. So then we said, okay, well, what other trends are happening in collaboration that are impacting the marketing organization? And one trend is that 84% of companies employ remote workforces now. And this is from Frost & Sullivan. So if you think about it, as a marketing organization, you have more remote workers, you have more disparate locations, you have more mobile workers. Marketers are working with more cross-functional and integrated marketing teams across the US and across the globe, and sometimes on different time zones. So really effectively collaborating with those stakeholders can be challenging without the right tools. So we had a clear understanding of our target audience. We had a clear understanding of our personas. We had a clear understanding of their pain points and challenges. And then we said, okay, we need to develop a content framework that is going to attract this persona. And so we designed a framework where we had attract content to draw them into the marketing funnel, and then content to engage them through top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. And all of this was supported by research. So we had a good foundation. We did a lot of research. We were prepared. Then we started the process. And as marketers, you know that there's a ton of great content out there, and you're getting hit with it all the time. So one of the big challenges that PGI had was, how do we come up with content that's going to really break through the clutter and get the attention of these marketing decision makers? So what we did is we enlisted the help of a local agency called The Content Factor, and we started with a workshop. And we had representation from sales, marketing, of course, strategic communications, our product marketing group, and it was really a creative brainstorming session. We all had Post-it notes, and we talked about, the persona, the challenges, the pain points, how our solutions help solve for those pains. But what we did in this brainstorming session is just come up with themes, topics, kernels, if you will, of ideas. And we posted them on a whiteboard. And then we looked at all these, and then we started grouping them in buckets of common themes. And this was not around, I think we need to do a video. I think we need to do an ebook. I think we need to do a white paper. It was really around ideas. And we came up with a lot of creative ideas. And then what happened at the conclusion of this workshop is the content factor then took all this information, digested it all, and they came back to us and populated our framework with the titles of content and the formats of the content. And we then blessed that framework. From there, we started the writing process, did the design. There was roughly 12 pieces of content in this content marketing campaign. We also created emails and landing pages. And then we created our nurture tracks, programmed them in Eloqua, did all the lead scoring on the back end, and built everything out. And this is an example of our nurture track for the collaboration campaign. As I mentioned, we had content at the top to attract this marketing persona. And we used the attract content in content syndication, paid social. We also promoted it through our online sponsorships to drive leads into the marketing funnel. And then we had top-of-funnel content in which this particular piece of content entitled Herding Cats and Corralling Chickens is the first piece in our tofu nurture track. So the tofu nurture track really was addressing the pain points and creating awareness for those pains and how a solution like ours could help solve those pains. In the middle of the funnel, we then align that with our PGI solutions, and then at the bottom of the funnel, we helped validate their decision to choose PGI as a vendor. So here are some samples of what some of the pieces of content look like. The first one in the top left is a video scribe that we did, and it was entitled At the Corner of Create and Collaborate, a CMO's Guide to Marketing's Newest Busy Intersection in the Enterprise. And then we also had a piece that is an ebook following that, C-suite collaboration, earning and keeping marketing's seat at the table. We also did a interactive survey, if you will, on what's your collaboration type. And then, of course, the infographic, which is what today's session is around, herding cats and corralling chickens, which we obviously used a lot of our research stats in this piece to talk about all the marketing trends that were affecting collaboration in the marketing organization. And then, of course, we developed the emails, the landing pages. Each landing page also offered a secondary call to action, which in this case was to request a demo, just in case that person was further along in the buying cycle. So now I'll talk a little bit about the people, the team. Collaboration was key to successfully pulling off this rather large-scale content marketing program. And we had writers, designers, of course, the content factor as our agency, marketing managers, project managers, and key stakeholders and reviewers. And Alyssa Dettelbach on my team actually ran point on this project. And I will tell you that she will confirm that it was like herding cats to get everybody on the same page. But the benefit of working for PGI is that we offer tools to help marketers collaborate more efficiently. And so we used our own tools to help run this project. We used iMeet, which is our all-in-one web video and audio conferencing solution. which is great for marketers in particular because it allows you to present in high-definition video. And you're able to really read those nonverbal cues when you're presenting creative ideas and concepts to understand if somebody's actually receiving the idea or if they just, by their facial expression, you know that they just don't think that's a good idea. This product also allows you to share a file, share a screen, record, chat. It really was helpful for having virtual weekly status meetings to stay on our project deliverables and keep things on task. In addition, we used iMeet Central, which is our team workspace and project management solution, which I have to say was really a godsend for this particular project because, as I mentioned, we had a lot of pieces of content, and this was just one campaign. We were actually running 2 campaigns consecutively, building this out. And iMeet Central is way more than a file repository, which I know a lot of marketers use like file repositories for their projects, but this was way more than a file repository. We basically built out our workspace in iMeet Central. We identified the team members, and then we managed foldering and organizing everything based on our track content, our tofu content, our mofu content, the bottom of the funnel content, our emails and landing pages. We built our project plan in this and managed to the project plan. But for me, as a final reviewer on everything, and by the end of this project, I was like, I don't want to look at another piece of content, quite frankly. For me, it was invaluable, the version control that this solution offered us, because we were able to, I could go in, look at the file in the cloud, edit it, save it down, and be done with it, and know that I was looking at the latest version of the content, not having to wonder, has everybody weighed in on this? Is this the final version? Oftentimes when you're trying to manage projects via email and sending a file back and forth, that just can be really an ineffective way of running a project. So now I'll talk a little bit about the results. And I don't get super excited about email results, but these are the results from this particular piece of content. And as I mentioned, it was in our tofu nurture track. So our open rate was 59%. Click-through rate was 9%, click-to-open rate was 14%, and all of these are pretty good stats compared to your average non-transactional email. But what does get me excited is the big picture results. So our content marketing program has influenced overall opportunity revenue of over 761,090 opportunities. And content has driven inbound leads, attributing to 41% of our marketable database. And we've also received exposure through a number of media outlets, including Inc., Entrepreneur.com, CIO.com, and Business News Daily. So these results we're really pleased with, and we're going to continue on our journey with our content marketing strategy and continue to optimize it. But I'd like to see if anybody has any questions for me. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Any questions? Got a quiet group after lunch? Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And we are at booth number 15. If you'd like to stop by, we have a printout of our infographic there, as well as some giveaways. And we're also doing a raffle for an Amazon Echo. So thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your conference.